Hey Pyros, Valmir here at Elite Fireworks. Right now we're actually at the back of our property here in Houston, Texas. There's the warehouse over there. But in this video, I'm actually going to talk to you guys a little bit about our fireworks stands because we have a very interesting story. Now, if you're reading the title of this YouTube video, that means I am going to talk to you guys about our experience and how we got robbed last season, because one of our stands actually got robbed. Now, in our YouTube channel, if you like anything and everything fireworks, we like to share everything and our journey from good and bad stories, as well as we just like to basically bring awareness to the fireworks industry, because don't get me wrong, it's a great business to be in, especially if you have a hobby and you love fireworks. However, though, there are some risks to fireworks, and that risk is you can sometimes get robbed. Now, in this video, I'm basically gonna share with you guys the stand that got robbed. So if you notice, it's not the prettiest looking stand right now, but guess what, guys? Majority of the work has already been fixed. There's still a little bit more work that my brothers are working on, but as you notice, it is not the smoothest fireworks stand, right? As you see all the windows, it's not the smoothest. And if you are guessing, yes, they broke in through the window. Now, if you look, this stand right here, all smooth, great, no worries. Now, luckily for us, we did get robbed, but no one got hurt. Because often, for instance, with all of our stands, we have over 20 stands here at Elite Fireworks. And we've actually never had a situation where we got robbed until last season. But what that means for us is basically we have to redesign all of our stands to make them more secure. So I'm going to show you a little bit of our process on how we secure our stands. But on top of that, we've basically stayed away of getting wireless cameras in our stands, but that's actually going to come. So all of our stands are going to have cameras in the inside, and depending on location, also outside for some locations. The reason for it, I think it's worth the investment, because if we were to buy all the cameras, realistically, we're looking at maybe it's going to cost us around 8 to 10 grand with everything, because we'll do all the assembly of the products ourselves, since anything and everything in the stand that you see, including the shelves or basically the whole process, my two brothers, Suli and Kastrat, actually do. But I think it's worth the investment. Now, we have stayed away from putting cameras and making our stands more secure because we've never gotten robbed. But after this, because they did take around $12,000 of inventory. Now, in a typical fireworks stand, I understand $12,000, first of all, that's a lot of money. But luckily for us, because we don't have just a couple of stands, and we have also our fireworks store, as well as we do sell wholesale. It is in comparison to the whole business, it's not much, but of course, doesn't matter what, guys, you don't want to get robbed, because in general, all of this that, all of this that has happened, it's basically through sweat and hard work, As I mentioned, my brothers designed the stands, and everything that we do, it's in-house, from stand designs to product designs to anything and everything, right? Now, let's go back outside of this stand first. So this stand actually, and it makes sense why it got robbed, because this is one of our weakest stands, because it is our oldest fireworks stand that we've had here at Elite Fireworks with the 40-foot containers. Now, we used to have trailers and some different ones, but now basically all of our locations, except one location, they're all 40-foot containers, where whether we put a 40-foot containers or we put a 40 and a 20-foot container if it is a bigger location. But this is the oldest one. Now, the issue with this, you guys got to understand, this stand, we've actually built it around almost 9 years ago, and we've been in business just over 10 years, so like 10 and a half years. So very early on. So of course, when we started, obviously you cannot build everything premium to start off. So even the sheets on this stand, actually, if you look at they are the thinnest sheets. Whereas if you look at two different stands that we have in our property, like for instance, this sheet right here, it's a lot more solid. So it's a lot nicer. So obviously with everything, it costs. So initially, you got to make it work with what you have. Now with this stance, obviously the weakness was at the windows, and they actually, the spot that they broke in, which Judd actually in the season he went and fixed it, but they broke through this window. Okay, so long story short, they broke through this window. Now obviously you might ask me, Valmir, how did they break in? Aren't you guys, when you put your stance at the fireworks location, aren't you gonna keep your eyes on them non-stop 24/7? Well, yes guys, but the problem with, we actually missed it by 15 minutes unfortunately, because how we have it in our system is that we have crews that constantly throughout the night constantly check all of our stands. So we have multiple crews that they have their routes depending, because we are spread out all in Houston, Texas, but all of our locations basically west side, and they can vary. So we cannot have just one crew checking on all of our stands. However though, it did happen because unfortunately this was one of our weaker stands. So what have we done to fix it? Obviously, if you look at, and of course, if you're in the fireworks industry, obviously, let me know in the comments below, like how you guys secure your stands, or is this something that you would consider for your stands if you're watching this and you have stands for your business, or matter of fact, if you're in a different state where you have a tent business, how do you guys secure those? Because actually, if you're in the fireworks industry and you have a tent, I'm very interested to know that, because I assume you guys have 24/7 surveillance with like a security there. But anyway, before we used to have just one bar here that we would secure it, but what we've doubled them up, and then we've also added extras here. And notice, as I mentioned, we are not yet done with this, because right here we're supposed to cut it so we can put another bar so we can secure it, but we do have these latches. Now obviously this one is too small, so it's designed for one of the corners rather than right here, but basically you would here, and I'll try to do it with one hand, but there we go. So like there, and then bam. But usually the longer one would be like, for instance, that one over there, they'll go through all that. So that's gonna really secure it really well. Now the weakness for this one, as I mentioned, so they broke in through here because this was very weak, okay? But that's why what we have gone is we've actually secured it even more with these. So this used to not be on there. Now, obviously, this is one of our oldest stands. Now, we've had the same issue they tried with one of our newer stands. They didn't have a chance with the windows, even though we didn't have the extra ledges, just because the actual metal that we used was not as cheap. Because, believe it, yeah, the metal that we were using in this one is like half of the thickness compared to majority of the other stands that we use it. The reason for it, as we have gone, we've learned that it's better to use the more premium material just so you don't have any issues. And that's why, for instance, even with our stands, as I mentioned, this stand is 8 years old. And guys, we've never had any issues where we had leaks or any issues like that where we'll get damaged products. Because before, even we started with our 40-foot containers, we were buying used stands. And the problem with that is, believe it or not, we were just losing money just because there would be leaks in the ceilings just because an older used stand. But with new ones, I mean, sure, we pay a little bit more upfront, but we just never have issues. And in a way, as much as I hate to say it, because obviously we do not want to get robbed, but it was in a way a good thing that it kind of happened, because it forces us to fix an issue, especially with our older stands. So and then plus, it makes it a no-brainer now to go ahead and actually invest in wireless cameras inside of our stands, just so for extra protection. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I hope none of you, if you're in the industry, I hope you don't get robbed, because obviously it's not a great feeling. Believe me, it's a punch in the gut, but it is what it is. The good thing is no one got hurt, and that's the most important thing, because at the end of the day, we don't want one of our team members to get hurt. Luckily for us, we are in Texas, and the good thing about in Texas is a lot of, let's just say a lot of fireworks people, they do carry, let's just say there's guns, shotguns, pistols with them, because let's just say it is Texas after all. And even our staff members, we do allow them. So if we have a team member that they want to carry their weapon, that is fine by us, because after all, this is a private property, and in Texas, you're protected. However, though, we do tell our staff that if in case you're brought in the situation, it's not worth it, Like, don't try to be a hero, don't try to do something stupid, just let it go, because at the end of the day, someone's life is a lot more important than inventory. Luckily for us, we are improving all of our stands and making them more secure, adding the cameras and so on. So anything materialistic, that's fine, but of course, that's the most important thing. We don't want people to get hurt. But anyway, guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you guys in another video right here on our channel. Bye-bye.